Welcome to Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock, Drogheda. Yesterday I was talking about Max Park, about this young man who, although diagnosed with moderate to severe autism when he was 2 years old, has become the world record holder at solving Rubik's Cubes, both with one hand and with two hands. Now, the Rubik's Cube itself, obviously, I can remember a time when it was very, very popular. It's not so popular now, but a lot of people still enjoy using them and trying to solve them. It was invented by an architect from Hungary, Erno Rubik. And basically, he started off thinking, as an architect, wouldn't it be fascinating if you could join together cubes or blocks and cause them all to be able to rotate around, which actually, when you stop to think about it, is a much more complicated proposition than you might just think when you look at a Rubik's Cube. I mean, to be able to get them all to move independently in any direction that way is incredible. And so he started off with all these little blocks of wood and some rubber bands, and discovered how he was able to do it. Now, it's not just limited to three. You know, a Rubik's Cube, the standard Rubik's Cube is 3 by 3. So each of the 6 surfaces has 9 squares on it. So it's actually made up of 27 blocks, all joined together and able to rotate together. Well, Erno Rubik, he worked out how to do that. And then at some point, he had the bright idea of putting colors on it so that you could make a puzzle out of it. And as they say, the rest is history. Now, actually, a Rubik's Cube can be bigger. It doesn't have to be 3 by 3. There are 4 by 4. There's 6 by 6. And in fact, the largest Rubik's Cube that is sold commercially is 21 rows by 21 rows, which is quite impressive when you consider that a Rubik's Cube of that size, 21 rows by 21 rows on each of the 6 sides, is made up of 9,261 separate blocks. And you can buy them. It's available commercially online if you want to buy one of them. It's only €1,300, which I guess is an awful lot for a game. But when you think there's 9,261 blocks and what must be involved in putting it together, it's probably not that expensive. However, I noticed on the website where you can buy them that it says, and I quote, "Handle with care, as it can be problematic to fix again if it breaks." Well, I imagine it can be. I think if an ordinary Rubik's Cube with its 27 blocks broke, I would struggle to try and fix it again. But if one with 9,261 blocks broke and you've got all these little blocks all over the place, I can't imagine how anybody could fix that. So there you are. You've got the Rubik's Cube. They go as big as that. Now, the Rubik's Cube, as well as being a popular toy, a lot of people have taken to using it as evangelism tool. So if you are good with the Rubik's Cube, you can look up how to use your Rubik's Cube in evangelism. There are videos on YouTube that will teach you how to use your skills with a Rubik's Cube to tell other people about Jesus Christ. But certainly for me, I've not watched any of those videos because I'm hopeless with a Rubik's Cube. But I will say this, that one thing that I noticed about the Rubik's Cube is that it's based on a very basic premise. That you start off with everything perfect and in place. The cube has 6 sides. They're all the same. There's an order, a symmetry to that. And then it gets all messed up. It gets all jumbled up. And the idea is to get it back to the way it was once again. And that speaks to a basic human need. Because I think when you look at many different religions around the world, there's this idea that things weren't always like they are now, that things have somehow got messed up, that we were created to be better than we are. And things have got messed up, and if only, like solving the Rubik's Cube, we could get ourselves and get the world back to the way it originally was. The beautiful thing about the Christian faith, of course, is that we can do this. And not only does Jesus take us back to where we were before, Jesus takes us back into a better place where we not only are like the perfect man and woman that God created at the beginning of time, but rather also we have the presence of God himself, not just meeting with us and walking with us in a garden, but we have the presence of God living inside us by faith in the presence of the Holy Spirit. And in that case, in that respect, the story of the gospel is infinitely better than the fascination of the Rubik's Cube. God bless you today. Join us again tomorrow for another Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock Drogheda.